think we're live. Are we live? Have you missed me saying, are we live?
Absolutely.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, it is Thursday. I have no idea what the date is. Maybe it's the 19th or the 20th or some such like that. But anyway, after such an awfully long, it seems like years and years, but it's actually 6 month mark. I know this because, well, you know, doctors and appointments and all of that stuff going on. So I know that we're at the 6 month mark. It's been 6 months at least since we did this. But I thought that I'd better show you all that I'm alive still and kicking. And look, I'm even smiling. I might be grimacing halfway through, but I'm actually smiling away here. And I'm really very excited to see you all. Before we begin this show, um, and I will mention it again later because I know some of you will be latecomers. But before we begin the show proper, what I would really like to say is a huge, enormous, massive, massive, massive thank you to all of you who've been sending healing, all of you who've been sending comments, sending good wishes, and all of that good stuff. And I really um, feel very humbled by so much caring and such a show of support. So thank you. I can't say thank you enough. So I'm just going to say thank you once, and that's going to have to be enough. But it's a big, heartfelt thank you to all of you. And right, let's. So first, before we begin proper, are you wondering? Is he around? Could he be there? Where is he? Yes, of course. First of all, I'd like to say good morning to my spirit guide, Regal, who is standing to my right side here. Um, and also good morning to Chris. No idea where Chris is right now, but anyway, good morning to Chris and good morning to all of you. And I know that there are trillions and trillions of comments, some of them already in and some of them coming. We won't have time to read all of the comments, but I will check out the comments after the show. So please don't think we're ignoring you if we don't mention you. I will check out all of those lovely comments that you sent to me, and I look forward to reading them anyway. So, Chris, who's going to be first in here?
Well, good morning, Rosemary. Mark is first in.
Wait,
And
wait. That's such a shock. That's wow. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Keep going. Sorry, Chris.
uh, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that just boom, boom, boom within seconds of us going live were in, and basically all of them. Mark, Judy, um, Judith, Rhonda, Sandy, Tracy,
I got it. Thank you, darling.
Marcella, every single one of them, Barb, the Starshine, they're all saying how much they've missed you and they're happy to be here.
Well, I've missed you all too, and thank you so much. And we're glad that you're back with us. I'm so glad that you didn't give up on us. I mean, you know what happens. You don't see someone for a while, and then they sort of fade from your memory, that sort of thing. Um, and so I'm glad I'm glad that didn't happen. Anyway, so all right, so let's go with our first question, Chris, shall we?
We don't have any questions yet, Rosemary, but I think the overarching question people are asking is what happened? How are you? All these people don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll I will say this then as quickly as I can because it's for me for the last 6 months it's been an ongoing saga. So my daughter and my grandson were here at Easter, and we'd had our Easter hunt, which we always have a great Easter hunt. I make things up and I hide things, and we have it's a fairly long process, and it's a fairly lengthy Easter hunt, I might tell you. Anyway, so we had our Easter hunt. They were here, and then one day over the Easter vacation, my friend Mary Lou came over with her grandson, um, Gavin, who he and Reese are good friends, and they've gotten to know each other over the years. And so we decided we were going to have a swim day, and the kids were in the pool playing, and other people were in the pool playing, and I was directing food. You might know that, right? I'm the director of the food, and the kids decided they wanted pizza, so I was just standing there, and of course, it's far too long for anyone to remember, but for at least 3 or 4 weeks before that, my back had been out really quite badly. So it was good that I was actually able to stand and join in and what have you with everybody. But I was in the midst of getting the kids' orders for pizza, not homemade. And we were sending out for pizza, and I'm talking to the kids, and as I'm talking to the kids, I'm standing just inside of the house, sort of on the edge of the pool. They're all out in the pool area, and my back spasmed, and the next thing I know, I was um, lying face down in in the pool area. If I'd have fallen into the pool, it would have been so much better, but I didn't. Anyway, and I knew immediately because my hand was not functioning and I couldn't really move my hand at all. And of course, a lot of pain anyway. The upshot of it was that I broke my wrist, which is fine. That was fine. Fortunately, Samantha was so quick thinking. She got a one of those elastic bandages and lightly wrapped it around my wrist and my hand for support. And they took me to the hospital. And yes, sure enough, I broke my wrist. And I have to tell you, I'm such an old lady now. And the only thing I've ever broken before, I've broken a couple of toes here and there. Other than that, I've never had a bad break, so I feel very fortunate for that. But the way I'd landed and the way I'd put my weight on, obviously, it just cracked the bone. Anyway, turned out that it was broken in 3 places. And so they took me to the hospital. They put on a temporary splint, I think they call it, and then I had to go and see a um, a surgeon, an orthopedic surgeon. This is where the story turns. Now, up to this point, the, whoever it was at the hospital had put the splint on. She wasn't sure that she knew what she was doing or not, and she said her words were, "Well, that's the best I can do." So 2 or 3 days later, when my fingers started to get numb and cramped, I went to the one of those emergency walking clinics to say, can somebody loosen this? Because I was still waiting to see the surgeon. So they loosened it a bit for me, but they were afraid to take it off altogether. So then I went to the orthopedic surgeon, and this is where we begin the cautionary tale. We all have had some bad experiences, whether we go shopping and we get a snippy little shop assistant, or whether we get someone who's being rude to us in a restaurant, and hospitals are not the same. But my personal experience of hospitals have, for me personally, have been great, and for my daughter, not so great until I've had to sort 1 or 2 people out. You know how that goes sometimes. But basically, you know, our doctors and our nurses, they are fabulous, fabulous people. And so I went to see who I thought was the surgeon, who in fact turned out to be the surgeon's assistant. She didn't say that to us. I thought she was the surgeon. Anyway, they x-rayed, and then this wonderful little girl, she was very cute, very nice little girl, um, was the one who put the cast on. But she was young, and it turns out she was a student, and uh, that's where the story gets pretty bad because she actually put the cast on wrong. Nobody checked it. Every time I went back, I kept going back and forth for a week or two, well, 3 or 4 actually, to see this woman who I thought was the surgeon. You'd think I would know, wouldn't you think I would know? But anyway, you're hurting, you're in pain, you're on drugs and what have you. So anyway, I kept saying to them every time I went, my hand is hurting really badly, my fingers are hurting really badly. My wrist was strangely not hurting at all. It was just my hand that was really, really bad. And my fingers were feeling numb, and on it went. And every time I said something, she said, well, just stay ahead of the pain. They gave me oxycodone, but they gave me a high dosage. Um, and take pills in between. And she gave me another pill as well, and then just even if you can't stand the pain, just take more pills. Just get some Tylenol or Advil or something over the counter to take in between taking these other pills, and just stay ahead of the pain. And I am not a pill taker. If I take an aspirin, my daughter wonders what's going on with me. Within 2 weeks of taking the medications, I started having these weird dreams. So I cut the medication. My friend Mary Lou, who had actually come in, she was staying with me at the time, helping me. She stayed here for a month with me, 5 weeks, I think it was actually, helping me. And she couldn't believe that I'd cut the pills cold turkey, but I'm not going to go and get hooked on any of that stuff. We hear horrible stories about that. So now, moving on from that, I've told you far too much. Now we come to the point where now I'm out of the hard cast, and before she takes off the hard cast, this lovely girl says to me, once I take this cast off, you're going to be so relieved. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to be really easy. And it wasn't. She couldn't get the cast off. I was in tears. My thumb, etc., there was so much pain everywhere, and I think she was surprised. But at this point, not one doctor, not one surgeon, not one surgeon's assistant had actually looked at my hand or seen my hand or even tested to see if my hand was okay. Just stay ahead of the pain was what she kept saying to me. Take the pills. Oh, why don't you just take more pills? Anyway, turns out, long story very short, I finally went to uh, my primary doctor, who's fantastic. She's one of the best doctors I've ever had. She's fabulous. She said, and I was telling her all of this stuff, and I'd gone to see a therapist the day before who didn't know what to do with my hand and said they wouldn't touch it until they'd spoken to the doctor. That's fine. So my primary doctor said, do you mind if I look at your hand? And I took off. Now I had on a soft cast. I'd been told no matter what not to take it off. But she said, well, I'd like to have a look at it. I'll be very gentle, very careful. And that's when we noticed that my hand was at least 3 times. I've got my friend Mary Lou sitting opposite me. She's been very quiet, but you burst into tears when you saw my hand, right? You just couldn't believe it. My hand was 3 times its size. My doctor took one look, her eyebrows raised it up into her hairline, and the first thing she said was, you need an MRI. They got me an MRI, and my poor little hand, all of my ligaments, my nerves, all of the nerves had been stretched, ruined, whatever. My ligaments were ruined. What else is there in there? Everything was ruined anyway. When I went for the MRI, my hand was so swollen that they had to take all the padding out of the machine. And even then, they had great difficulty in closing the door, and they actually jammed my hand into the door so that they could take the MRI. And anyway, the upshot is my thumb has collapsed in. My hand is. I'm actually look. I can actually wriggle my fingers. I cannot yet make a fist. It hurts too much to do that. Anyway, and so I keep going back to this surgeon, different surgeon, because my doctor said to me, "You're not going back there again to these other people." And so different surgeon. His name, would you believe, is Dr. Hand. He's lovely. He's really nice. And so when I go back in December, there we're going to then talk about having to reconstruct. So I'm going to have surgery to reconstruct the thumb, because my thumb, I don't know if you see how your thumb is like that. Well, the thumb on this hand is not like that. But all of this is sitting in the palm of my hand, so it's kind of like that, and it hurts a lot. So anyway, and that is the end of the story. So I will keep you updated. I'm probably going to have reconstruction surgery. They take out the bone. They're going to take out this bone. They're going to take out this bone. What? Oh, yeah, and it's my right. It's my right hand. And if I were left-handed, I'd be fine. But because it's the right hand, oh, here we go. Can you still see me, Chris? Because
Yes.
that thing comes sliding on here, and I don't quite know what to do with it. What is it saying? Say, I think it just, yeah, do that. Click that. Can you see me?
Yes.
I can't see you guys. I can't see you at all. Why can't I see you? How do I get to see you?
Not sure, but you're looking right at the camera.
Well, as long as you can see me, then is that it? There we are. All right. So I can't see a thing. So all right. So anyway, so that is my very sad story. The good news is I'm up and about. My hand is slowly improving. They tell me it's going to be at least a year. We're at the 6-month mark now, so it's going to be at least a year, if not longer. They don't know whether I'll fully recover. My hand will fully recover. It's very odd because it's very misshapen. It's totally different than my left hand. It's very weird. Anyway, but that's it. We're dealing with it. And thank you again, everybody, for all of your wonderful, wonderful healing. Now, mine sounds like a horror story. They put the cast on incorrectly. That's what happened. So it caused all of this other damage. But, could have been a lot worse. Could have lost my hand. There are lots of people out there suffering far worse than I am. So when, I've always, I've, I've always said to other people, and it was said to me many, many, many years ago by a very wise man. I was depressed at the time, and he said, no matter how low you get, Rosemary, just remember there's always somebody knocking down below. In other words, there's always someone so much worse off than you are. And I think it really helps us to understand that. I think it, that knowing that no matter how bad things are, there's always someone worse off with you than you, and dealing with those situations as well. And some people are so brave. Being in hospital when I was younger, I met people who were amazing, dealing with illnesses you can't possibly imagine that anybody would have to deal with. Um, and when you see these people, and of course, as a healer, I've seen people with so much worse going on than I'm. These people, their bravery, their courage, their determination, uh, the gutsiness that people have, and so many people, not just physical injuries, but emotionally going through real traumas. To me, that inspires me to try to do better. Not that I don't cry sometimes, not that I haven't been frustrated that I can't do anything with my right hand. I tried to open a bottle of milk the other day, and I could not get it open. Anyway, there are so many frustrating things, but I think that when you think about all of those people who are so much worse off than we are, that gives you courage and it gives you inspiration. I think we should all be inspired by that to grit our teeth and get on with it. And I promise you, it's okay to moan, it's okay to complain, just don't do it too often. try to do it when you're by yourself. You've no idea the awful things I say to myself when I gently, I talk to my hand, I talk to my thumb. My therapist is great. He says, "Oh, that poor little thumb. We're not going to touch that poor little thumb. We're going to leave that poor little thumb. We're going to deal with the rest of you, but we're going to that poor little thumb," he'll say. And so we've got to be gentle with ourselves, give love and healing to ourselves as well. So you see, although this is a horrible story in some ways, it isn't. It isn't a great tragedy. It's just an inconvenient and often painful inconvenience. But there it is. That's it. I'm hoping we've got loads of questions from people now, Chris, and I can stop talking about me because I'm done talking about me. That's it.
All right. Well, Judith has responded saying, "What a harrowing experience. I'm so thankful you are finally home and hope you will finish your healing quickly."
Thank you, and I appreciate that, my darling.
Gwen popped on saying, "It's nice to see you again, but I'm at work. Sorry I can't stay long, but I am sending love and light to you."
Thank you. And for everybody who thinks this is a live show, we do a live show. But after that, you can find us on YouTube and other places. If you want to watch the show, um, you know, the recorded show, you can definitely find us on YouTube. So you can always, or if you yourself have a question, or if you want to listen to some of the answers I give to other people, you can see the show. You can see the show as many times as you like, but find us on YouTube, Chris.
We have a number of your Italian fans on, unfortunately not writing in English, so I can't read to you what they're saying, but I'm trusting that they're all wishing you, the best.
Okay, here's the deal, you wonderful, wonderful Italian people. Okay, now you're going to have to find an interpreter to tell you what I'm saying. But when you write to us, if you go into Google Translate, we'll be able to read what you're saying to us, and I'll be able to answer your questions for you. So please do that. Okay. So get a translator. Do not get an interpreter, because an interpreter is someone who listens to what you say and then they interpret what you say in their own way. There's a big difference. So get someone who's going to translate the words, or go to Google Translate. But my love to all of you wonderful Italians out there.
Mark saying, "I'm just glad you are back and on live and know that you are loved."
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
Barb's coming in with a question.
Okay.
Rosemary, how
Yes.
long after a person passes do you recommend having a consultation?
Oh, uh, Bob, I like that question. That's a good question. You can do it as soon as an hour later if that person's ready. I know that a lot of mediums say you got to give them whatever it is, a month, 6 months, a year, whatever it is. Uh, that you've got to allow them to get used to where they are and so on. But my experience is usually the sooner the better, because those in the spirit world are generally champing at the bit to let you know that they're okay. So whenever you feel that it's right, and generally speaking, when someone makes an appointment with me, and I'm only talking about me now, I can't talk about other mediums, so I'm only talking about me. But generally speaking, when someone makes an appointment to see me, if they're told you got to wait 3 months or 6 months or even a year, right? It's because that's the time that is right for them. So, I know there are a lot of people who, and I do feel sorry about this. A lot of people have made appointments with me, and we've had to cancel, we've had to move people, and some people have been disappointed and gone away and not wanted to wait. They generally come back at some point, but if you cannot get in, not just with me, or with anybody, but certainly with me, I can only speak to me. If you can't get in for a week or two or a month or two, it's generally the right time. So you have to trust that even though you're champing at the bit, wanting to talk to your loved ones, when they are ready, then the appointment will be made. And if for any reason we have to cancel it, it's generally speaking because it's best for all parties. So it's amazing to me sometimes. Somebody will make an appointment, and for whatever reason we'll have to cancel it, and we make a further appointment for them, and they come back and they say, I'm so glad that I waited, because last week this situation came up and I really need some help with it, and I wouldn't have been able to get that help had I had my appointment back when. So whenever you make the appointment, uh, usually that's fine. And trust me, you don't have to wait. There's people in the spirit world, generally speaking, um, they they want to let you know as soon as they can. So I don't believe there is a specific time to wait. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. So anyway, keep going, Chris.
All right. This is from Lorray. I desperately want to connect with my mom. I sense she is trying to connect as well. Is there something I can do to help her come through?
Um, yeah, yes. I'm supposing that you'd rather try to do this yourself than by going through a medium. So, and I understand that. Listening is the best thing. What most people tend to do in your circumstance, and I'll bet you've done it, is, are you there, Mum? I know you're there. I can feel you there. Are you there? Can do you have a message for me? Can you show me a sign? Can you this, and will you do that? And on and on and on. And I know that people do it because I've done it myself. When my daddy died, Dad, are you there? Are you listening? And you know what we're doing when we do that? We're not shutting up and giving them time to reply. So you have to listen. And I suggest to people that they take 10 minutes out of each day. So I'm going to just move a little bit. They take 10 minutes out of each day, and or 2 or 3 times a week, but on a fairly regular basis, and you just put yourself in a quiet room, sit in a chair, make sure that there are no disturbances, turn the phone off, turn the TV off, turn the computer off, make sure you've got silence for 10 minutes and no interruptions. And then you just sit there and you say to whoever it is, in this case it's your mummy, you say, I'm here for you. Um, it's okay if you're busy. It's okay. I just want you to know that for this next 10 minutes I'm just going to be here for you, and if you want to say anything, I'm listening. And then you have to shut up. You cannot say, show me a sign, give me a sign. You cannot say, where are you? You cannot say anything, because what you're doing then is you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing. First of all, you're pushing them, and there's an anxiousness about that, and they become anxious because they're trying to get to you. Remember, they want to get to you as much as you want to get to them. So that you create this anxiousness, which creates a wall, which means that you're not listening properly, you're not looking properly, you're not paying attention. So what you do in that moment where you're sitting there, those few minutes where you're sitting there quietly, is you take a breath through your solar plexus and breathe nicely, easily, calmly, and then you just shut up and you listen and you watch. And I get my students to sing the rainbow song. Listen with your eyes. The rainbow song. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your eyes and sing everything you see. Right? In other words, you're whether it's your eyes, your ears, it's every one of your five senses. People are always saying, I want to find my sixth sense. Well, the sixth sense is simply the five senses tuned in, honed finely, coming together, create that sixth sense. So all of your senses together. So, you know, you might do this for a week and get nothing. You might do it for a month and get nothing. You might do it for a year and get nothing. Is it worth persevering? In my view, yes, it is. If you listen and you pay attention and you listen with every one of your senses, and you might at some point see a shadow, or you might feel someone touching your hair, or you might feel someone stroking your cheek, or you might see a light, brief shadow, something in the corner. Take everything that you see and feel and get, and know that it's very likely those in the spirit world trying to show you that they're around you. Don't expect miracles. Be patient. Wait, be patient. And it will happen, and you will hear, see, sense, or whatever it is that you're able to do eventually. Pay attention to your dreams, because our loved ones in the spirit world will often come to us in our dreams, because in our dreams, in our sort of half asleep, half awake state, we don't have walls, we don't have emotions, we don't have desperation, we don't have the anxiety of trying to listen, and we're in that peaceful, calm place where our loved ones can get through to us. People talk about the wall, they talk about the veil, the veil between the two worlds. There is no veil. There's no walls, no veil, there's no separation, except when we become anxious or we become desperate, or in our grief we often unknowingly create a wall or a barrier between us and the spirit world. But while we're creating that wall and we can't see them, believe you me, they see you. They're standing in front of you, and they want to do everything they can to connect with you. There's also one more thing, and some people are perhaps not patient enough, or they're perhaps not tuned in enough, or too desperate or too emotional to do all of the things I'm suggesting. Then find a good medium. They are, I'm afraid to tell you, few and far between. I had a gentleman this week who had an appointment with me. He had the audacity to tell me that he'd forgotten, that it was only that he was reminded by Chris the day before. He said, "Oh, I've forgotten all about this appointment." But I mean, I laughed. How could I be forgotten? But when I asked him why he'd come to see me, he said, "Well, you're a medium, and I wanted to connect with my wife." And okay, all right. But then later he admitted, "Well, I was told you were the best." And I said, "Now that's more like it. I'm not the best. I'm not. We were having lots of fun. But if you're going to see someone or to seek someone out who claims that they're a medium, pay attention. Just because somebody says they're a medium doesn't mean that they are. So research and go by good recommendations. Pay attention to who it is that who you're going to go to. But so often I say to people who come to see me, you know, people often people I hear people saying all the time, "Well, I've never seen my mother. I don't believe in this. If my mother wants to come to see me, she'd come and see me. If I, this sort of thing." Um, but what I say to people is, well, before that happens, you have to give them the opportunity. So what I'm saying to you, by sitting for quietly for 10 minutes or something, you're giving them the opportunity to try to do this. By coming to see someone like me, you're giving them the opportunity. And so many people in the spirit world talking with me and talking to their loved ones who are still on this earth plane will often say to their loved ones, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity," because without that opportunity, they're not able to tell you all of the things they're desperate to tell you. And so, just FIY, what I said about the guy who he forgot all about me. at the end of my session, I was laughing. I said, "You're not going to forget about me ever again, are you?" And he shook his head, "No." So find a good medium. If when you've tried yourself and it doesn't seem to work, find a good medium and make sure that they have a good reputation. Chris.
All right. This is from Jean. So sorry this happened to you.
Hi, Jean.
I, like everyone else in this country and around the world, we are in a total mess and healthcare is the worst.
Well, yes and no. Okay, I had a bad experience, but for all of my bad experience, I can recount to you the hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of people who have uh, had good experience. And yes, the healthcare certainly could be improved, um, especially when we're paying so much money for it all. Um, you know, when I book to see the surgeon, you expect to see the surgeon. You don't expect to see the surgeon's assistant. I was almost going to say the monkey, the monkey's, the monkey. What is it? The monkey, or the monkey grinder. That's that. Whatever that phrase is, you expect to see who you're going to see. And I had another unbelievable experience because a really great friend of mine suggested I go for a second opinion, which I had to pay for when I was in New York. And I've never been so badly treated, so ignored. I've never been, and this is someone I'm paying for, who you would expect, but obviously, this the doctor was she dealt with the footballers and people with hundreds of thousands and whatever. So I obviously didn't meet the criteria. I've never been treated so rudely or so badly or so completely ignored. I've never had a doctor uh, actually look at me with such irritation. And so whether you pay for it or whether you don't, you can't guarantee that it's going to be a good experience. But I think generally, when you look at all of the wonderful nurses that there are and the wonderful doctors that there are, I can tell you right now that had it not been for the medical profession, I personally would not be alive because when I was 19, I had a way worse experience than the one I'm dealing with now. So that let's not blanket everything by saying that everything is bad because it isn't. What we have to do is we have to focus on the good and we have to focus on those people who are great. I have my doctor, my primary doctor. She is amazing. And there are those people out there who are amazing, who are wonderful, who are, I mean, the girl who, yes, all right, she put my cast on and she obviously didn't know what she was doing. She pushed it on too tight and my thumb collapsed in and here we are with this. But she was the sweetest, nicest person and her intentions, we know intentions pave way to hell, don't we? Good intentions can pave the way to hell. But let's not say the whole world is in chaos. Let's not say everything is awful. Let's not say the healthcare system is terrible. It can be improved. But what we have to do is we have to find the good. We have to focus on the good. And sometimes I agree with you, it's very, very hard to do politically at the moment and all of the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment. It's very, very hard to focus on the good. But this is not something that's new. This is something that's always been. The only thing that is new about this now is that we have a communication system throughout the world that tells us things that we would have never even known about even 20 years ago. So the communication systems of the world are such that everything is in our face. So it just seems overwhelming. But this is the world is turning exactly as it always has, with the good and with the bad. So I just want to focus on what is positive. If something is negative and I can do something about it, I can improve it, I'm going to focus on that as well. If there's something going on that I cannot change, that is really bad, I look to that higher power. I send out my prayers. It's as much as I can do. And I trust in God and I trust in the universe and I trust in all that is good to right all of this stuff. But don't think that this is, you know, this we're in, 2023 and all of a sudden the world is collapsing. It's always been this way. We just know more about it because of our communication systems, and everybody has an iPhone or a phone. Everybody has a computer of some sort. Everybody knows what's going on around the world. And try to remember also, I've always thought this, even when I was a kid, I used to think, why do newspapers always report the bad stuff and they never report the good stuff? I mean, very rarely do you hear does a newspaper or a news program talk about something that's wonderful that's happening. But that doesn't mean that there isn't something wonderful happening. That there aren't many things wonderful happening around the world, because there are many wonderful things happening around the world and many wonderful people around the world. We just don't hear about it because I guess the miserable news, the dramatic and the awful news, well, makes the news, doesn't it? So sorry, I feel as I'm going to stop. I'm going to shut up because I feel as if I'm lecturing, and I don't mean to lecture. I just wish that people would focus on the wonderful things that are happening in this world of ours, because it is a wonderful world, and we should appreciate it more. And if we would only trust in that higher power and know that God will make it right in some way. Chris.
Judith is asking, what did your dear boy think of your injury? He's a little healer, isn't he?
Oh, my darling Reese. Well, he's been giving me healing every day, obviously. Well, not perhaps not so obviously to many people, but he was there when it happened. He was absolutely terrified because he'd never seen his Mosey crying and in so much pain. I tried to be brave for him. It wasn't easy. I think Gavin came to hospital as well, didn't he, Mary Lou? So they got these two kids looking at me, trying to be brave for them, but Reese was absolutely terrified and he wouldn't let go of me for ages. And I've been in New York now with them, and he's been taking care of me and giving me healing every day. Uh, when I'm not there with him, we speak every single night, and he says to me, "How are you, Mosey? And what did you do today?" And so I tell him what I did, and then I say, "What did you do today?" And he told me yesterday that he has this a turtle called Megan. There's this fabulous website that you can go to that they tag these animals. So he has three sharks, and I can't remember the name of the place now, but you go on Amazon and they give you a bracelet with a tag. And he's had Megan for a year now, and Megan has only moved like a mile and a half in the year that he's had her. But he tells me all about his animals and the sharks and the what have you that he has, and we just talk. And let's get on a really much brighter note. I bought him a brand new, well, not brand new, but I bought him a piano, brand new, beautiful piano. So he now has his own fabulous, beautiful piano. He did have a piano before, but this is something special that we went out and bought while I was in New York. It was tough because I couldn't play. I couldn't try it out myself. I had to listen to him trying it out. But anyway, so he's very happy and he's been sending me healing. And anyway, that's enough of that. Next question, Chris.
Sure. Dean is saying, welcome back. I've missed you.
Thanks, darling.
My daughter and her fiance want to try out a medium and would like to do the consultation together. Is it better to be alone or doesn't this matter?
Doesn't matter at all. I often do family consultations, and in fact, if this poor gentleman is listening in on this show, his ears are going to get red again, because I'm going to say, even though he forgot me at the end of the session, he said to me, he said, I forgot to tell my kids that I was going to be talking to you. And then at the end of the session, he said, if I wanted my kids to join in, would you do a joint session? So I said yes. And now, of course, it very often that joint session is shared hour session, which is fine, and it works perfectly fine. If there's a group, it's a whole different thing, because we have to take more time, it takes longer, and so on. But if 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 they want to do it together, Dean, I think that's a really good thing. Just remember, I mean, I don't know if they know of anyone locally to them who they want to go and see, but just give them a heads up. Just give them that little warning that they need to pay attention and be careful who they choose.
All right.
Yes.
Sharon is asking, what is your take on shamanism, Rosemary?
Well, Grey Eagle, my spirit guide Grey Eagle, is a shaman. Was a shaman in his life here on this earth. He has taught me the ways of the shaman. Um, Technically, I suppose I could say I too am a shaman, but I'm not. But I know the ways of the shaman. There are so many people. It's like mediumship. It's at one point in time you went to see a fortune teller. Then all of a sudden, the fortune teller called themselves a clairvoyant because it sounded better and it made them sound more respectable, I guess. And then they went from that instead of saying I'm a clairvoyant, then they went to, oh, well, I'm a medium. It's no, that being clairvoyant, being able to see, being able to sense does not mean that you are mediumistic. There's much more to it, and America is in many ways responsible for this, because America is the country of the quick fix. All of those books on how to become a medium, how to become a healer. Let's get them. And America sells more how-to books than any other country in the world, by the way. Because what happens is you buy a book, you read it, it doesn't work because it's a quick fix. It's not going to work. It's going to work for maybe 5 minutes, but then it's not really going to work. So then they buy another book and then they read that through, and then that's okay for a bit, and then off they go because now they need more. The same as shamanism. I've heard many people say I am a shaman. Knowing about shamanism, being so closely connected to Grey Eagle, those people who say, "Oh yeah, I've been training for 5 years and I'm a shaman," no, 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 you're not. No, you're not. Um, there's so much more to it. So much more to it. It's the same with Reiki. A Reiki master uh, teaches a Reiki master, teaches a Reiki master, teaches a Reiki master. That's how it worked. But we want the quick fix, and all of a sudden, everybody all over the world is learning Reiki and saying that they're Reiki masters and so on. I've had a 6-month course, and that makes me a Reiki master. No, no, it doesn't. Am I offending some people? You did ask me, and honestly, over the last 6 months, I've decided, I can't. I have to just stop the nonsense and just, if you've been doing Reiki, wonderful, but that does not make you a Reiki master. If you are a clairvoyant, it does not make you a medium. If you say you're a medium, but you can't talk directly and have conversations directly with those in the spirit world, and I mean directly, conversations, one on one conversations, you are not a medium. You are sensitive. You are aware. Then let's not sneeze at that. That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. But it does not make you a master. It does not make you a shaman. So shamanism is something that something that is so incredible and so special and so fabulous, and it's not something you can learn in 5 minutes or 5 years or even 10. You are. Um, I've been working with Gregor now for lots of years, 40 something, 50 years or something. Am I really that old? Yeah, I am. But I wouldn't, just because I know it and I know about it and I've uh, been in those places where, uh, if, I have obviously I have visions and I have experiences. I would never claim to be a shaman because that would just lessen the beauty of what it really means. There you have it. Next
Right.
question, Chris.
Well, she had a second part to that.
Okay.
Is shamanism safe regarding negative spirits? Are they attracting the negative spirits?
Well, a shot you wouldn't. Okay, that's only the case if somebody's claiming to be a shaman and they're not. So I think I answered the question. Don't dabble. Don't muck around. If you're going to do something, do it wholeheartedly. Do it 100%. Um, the mediumship is my life and my literally my life's work. 24/7, every tick-tock second of every tick-tock day. And that is shamanism. It's not something you do, it's something you are. It is who you are. I, Mediumship is not something that I practice, it's who I am. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm saying. The difference is, I mean, I just can't help it. It's me. This is how I was born. This is who I am. This is the energy that I am. The same with shamans. So, you know, don't muck around with it. Is what I'm saying to you. This is why it's so important. If you're going to find someone, a spiritual teacher or a spiritual leader, and you want that, look for those people who are dedicated to doing this, not just 2 days a week or 3 days a week. It's something that you can't a true medium, a true shaman. You can't set it aside. It is who you are every single day. Next question.
Um, I know I can see that D is on, and we've been sending healing to her mother, and her mother just turned 100 on the 13th.
Wow.
Did you want to wish her mom a happy birthday?
Well, what is her mum's name? I can't sing happy birthday, but don't know her name. Happy birthday to Dee's mum. That's what I can do. And how fabulous and how wonderful. So give her my love, lots and lots of kisses, and what a celebration you must be having as a family to have someone in your family reach a century, a whole century. Wow. You must be thrilled. It's definitely an accomplishment. Chris.
All right, we're getting close to time, but I'm going to try to get the questions out here. I've been doing this is from Uncut Funk. I've been doing the work to raise my vibration and awaken my abilities, and I can see auras with my eyes closed. Is my third eye working?
Well, it sounds as if you're doing a pretty good job if you can see auras. You don't need to close your eyes to see auras, just so you know. And I'm pleased that you're saying you're trying to raise the how the way that I put it is you're trying to raise your level of consciousness. When you're raising your level of consciousness, your vibrational level increases automatically. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find that sense of higher self, that sense of higher being, and tuning in and listening and paying attention. So it sounds like you're doing all the right things. It isn't a question of is your third eye working. It's a question of we have seven main chakras. I'll briefly go from top to bottom. The crown chakra, the what is commonly known as the third eye or the psychic eye, right here behind the pineal gland. Um, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, and as a student of mine was put it down in the forest, one down there, and then the tail, the base of the spine. So when they're all aligned, which is what you're trying to do when you sort of are tuning, you're tuning in, you're raising your level of consciousness, you're developing that vibrational level, which tunes all of these, opens all of these. But aside from those seven main chakras, we have trillions of little tiny chakra points all over our body. So when you're tuning in, you don't worry too much whether it's the third eye, it doesn't matter what it is. You want them all to line up. You want them all to be in line, and you want them all working together, which is what gives you the ability to raise that level of consciousness to a place of spiritual awareness. And so just keep going. Just keep going. Chris.
All right. One of your Italian fans did use the
Google. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. This is Santo Familiar Giusera Massaro. Okay.
Okay.
The day my father died, I asked him before I fell asleep to at least come and say hello. The next day, at wake time, he was living abroad and I was in Italy. The house alarm went off twice. I thought it was him.
Sounds like it. It's so funny because again, recently I've had this conversation with someone where the TV starts to go wrong. There's nothing really wrong with the TV, or the clock stops ticking and then it starts again, or little electrical things. They beep when they shouldn't. You say, "What's that beeping sound?" And oh well. So they will show you in any way possible that people saying if you're paying attention. So just I think that's fantastic, and I'm sure that he's very much with you, very very close to you, and I'm sure that was probably him letting you know I'm here. Okay, Chris, next question.
Jacqueline Baldwinson says, "Hello, Rosemary. It's good to see you again."
Hi, I know that name, I think.
She's sending lots of love and hugs from Scunthorpe, North Lincolnshire.
Oh, I thought I knew that name. Hi.
She says, "My daughter has been working in Greece and helping the baby turtles as they returned into the sea."
Oh, nice. How nice. Yeah, you can do that here in Florida too, Very nice.
Flory,
And lovely.
Flory is saying, sorry.
They're just saying lovely to hear from you. Yes, keep going, Chris.
Flory is saying, "So lovely to see you again, Rosemary, and hearing your voice. It's been a while since I had a connection.
Okay.
It's just lovely to be on your site again, sending you healing hugs."
Well, we should be here hopefully every Thursday. We're going to, sort of, we have to take it a step at a time because if I, depending on appointments and so on, but we're going to aim for every Thursday morning. And I'm beginning consultations again. So, remember what I said, if you book a consultation, it's not as soon as you think you want it. Um, but also, when you've made a consultation, if you want to sort of check in to see if there are any cancellations, you can do that as well. But it's meant to be when it's meant to be. So you have to trust in the spirit world, and you have to trust your loved ones. Anything else, Chris?
Judith is on for the first time. She says, "My first time seeing you. I'm so excited. Thank you for your wisdom."
Well, you're very very welcome, and I hope you'll come and see us again and again and again.
Yeah, we're right at noon, Rosemary.
Let's take one more, shall we? One more question.
All right. Patrice Patrizia says, "I lost both my parents within 5 months. I can't dream about them, but I'd love to see them again and to talk to them so badly."
Well, I'm sure, Patricia, that they will come to you in their dreams. I think, as I said earlier, grief, um, acts as a barrier. There's nothing we can do about it. You just have to be patient and wait until, and that grief, that hurt, that loss, you'll never get over it, but you will learn to live with it. I'm sure that they are together, and I'm sure that they are trying in their way to show that they're with you. But as you get more used to it, and as you learn to live with it, and as you learn to deal with your life in a more positive way, um, the, your grief is acting like a barrier at the moment. But don't give up, and be patient, and just allow it to happen in its own time. Don't push it, and it will happen, and they will come to you in your dreams, which won't be dreams at all, which will be visits from them. Okay, Chris, I think that's it. Excuse me. I have to go off and do other things now. It has been fabulous to sort of be back with you all again. Thank you so very much, all of you, for joining me. Remember, you can see this uh, show again if you go to YouTube, obviously not live. And if you'd like to share it with your friends, your family, that would be great too. Just let everybody know, because we like to share this stuff with lots of people. I'll be answering more questions, more spiritual questions. We will be doing more as we go along. It's a little difficult at the moment because I never know quite when I'm going to have to cancel something or be somewhere, but just keep bear with me, stay with me. I love you all. I love you all for your loyalty and your support, and thank you so very much, everyone. I'd like to say a huge, I'm told, a huge thank you from Grey Eagle to all of you out there. And this is unexpected. Here is a message from him: is don't be despondent. The world is as it is. It's the way that it has always been. It is the way that it probably will always be. What we have to do is what we have to do, he says, is we have to find the sunshine. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what I want you all to be doing today. Find the sunshine in your lives. Find the sunshine that shines. Sometimes, it's so cloudy and you can't see the sun, but we know it's there. So don't give up hope and find the sunshine. And he says, keep that sunshine in your hearts. So there is a message from Gregor that's unexpected. All right, I think that's it. So thank you to Chris. Thank you to Mary Lou for being here and supporting, because if it weren't for her, we wouldn't be on. We won't be on today. I tell you, my computer was doing silly things. Thank you to all of you again, and I will hopefully see you all again next week. But go to the website and keep checking in, because we will be doing now more and more as we go along. And I know that Halloween is coming. I know that Thanksgiving is coming, but I'm really excited because Christmas is coming. So we might do something special for Christmas. So watch out for that. So until I see you all again, God bless you all. Thank you so, so very much for joining us. And I hopefully will see you again next week, next Thursday. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.